Hi friends, I'm excited to be here with you today to share a new layout for the Shimmerz Paints design team. Today I am making a layout using the August 2024 Color Kitz, and I absolutely love the colors in the kit this month and all of the beautiful patterned papers, and they totally speak to my beach loving soul. So this was a fun kit to work with. So what I am doing here is I started with two stencils from my stash. One is a sun, like rays coming out of a sun, and then the other one is actually supposed to be zebra print, but I turned it sideways, and it is going to work really well for looking like waves. So I used the two stencils with texture paste and then set that off to dry. And then here I am putting down all of the colors that are in the kits this month. And I absolutely love all of these colors. So that purpley color is the Vibes Pink Moscato. The orange is the Colorings Tangy Tangerine. The blue is the Vibes Love Ocean number 9, which I absolutely love. And then the green is, let me see, Shimmerz Jilted Jade. The purple is the bonus color this month, and that's a Creamy's purple peony. And then the last one, that orangey pinky color, was a Creamy's Trippin' in the Tropics. And all of those colors are fantastic. And each one I love. I super love the shade of each color. So I will be using these again and again for sure. And then here what I'm doing is I'm taking some of the ephemera that was in the kit and cutting off the white edges, because you know I love to do that. And while I was waiting for my texture paste to dry, that was a good way to spend some time. So I was able to get all of that ephemera ready while my texture paste was drying, and now it's ready. So I am starting with the sun up in the left corner, and I started with the Colorings Tangy Tangerine, and that was that orange color. And then I kind of blended in a little bit of yellow. The yellow is the only color that's not in the kits this month, and that is, I think it's Bumblebee. It's Bumblebee, and it is Shimmerz. So I added that up at the top, and then I added on just under the orange. The color that I'm adding right now is the Creamy's Trippin' in the Tropics, and that is just a beautiful color. It's kind of like I don't know, it's not a pink, it's not an orange, it's like right in the middle of it. And it is it reminds me of a drink on the beach. So, some of those fruity drinks that they bring out when you're at the beach, that's kind of the color it looks like to me. So I absolutely love it. And then here for the water, what I'm doing is I took the green and the blue, and I'm actually going to even add in a little bit of the purple. And I am kind of blending those colors down the waves. And I actually had never used the zebra print for waves before. I don't know why, because it's perfect. But it looks, I really love how it looks on the layout with the texture paste behind all of these beautiful colors. And I love the kind of the dimension that gives. So that was definitely, I don't know what made me think of it, but it was kind of like it was sitting in my stencil organizer sideways, and I was looking at it and I'm like, I think I could use that. I think I could use that for waves. So that ended up turning out well. So the green and the blue looked really good, kind of blended there together, and I was kind of letting that dry a little bit. And then the purple that I put in the center, I kind of really wanted it's Pink Moscato, but it's a purpley pink, and I thought that looked really good to kind of blend. Sort of, I was wanting, how sun kind of, like you get all the different shades of the sun in the sky. I kind of was thinking sunset a little bit for this layout, and it worked. So, and then down here in the bottom, to kind of get the deeper shades of the ocean, I added just a touch of purple, not enough to look purple, but enough to kind of turn the blue color a little bit deeper blue, and that a little bit kind of closer to a navy. So that ends up working really well. As it dries. It does definitely give me the variation in color of the ocean. So by the magic of camera, video, I have now my layout is dry, or the background is dry, and I'm ready to start adding the ephemera and the photos. So the pictures that I'm adding on this layout are of a day. It's just an everyday kind of pictures. These are pictures in our pool. So, where all of us were super happy to be swimming together in our backyard. And I have one of the photos. I love the photo all the way on the right is of my husband, and he's throwing my daughter up in the air, and she's just laughing as she comes down to splash. So I love that photo. And then the photo in the middle is of all four of us. And so I thought that was this was such a happy day, and it definitely the colors in this in the kits this month definitely remind me of the colors in my backyard. So like with all of our flowers and the water and all the different things. So it was perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and use this green striped patterned paper from the kits to back my photos. I did map my photos first on white, like a very, very thin layer of white. And then I'm using the green, and I'm going to distress the edges of that. And I did, while I was talking, I did make a tag. So some of the tags, 3 of the tags that I'm using behind my photos were in the ephemera set. And then the second from the left, it's like almost like a beach scene. It's kind of a pink and yellowy little scene that has a sun and some water down at the bottom. It's going to be covered up, so you won't be able to totally tell. That was not a tag. It was just a rectangular piece of ephemera. So I turned it into a tag just by punching a hole. And then the pink and yellow patterned paper, I used just patterned paper to kind of cut my own little tag. So, because I needed a few more, and there were only 3 in that. The one I'm gluing down right now is the one that was just a rectangle, but it looks great as a tag. So it looks like it was supposed to be one. So I love that. And then I added some embroidery thread to each of those. And I did pick like the 5, like purple, green, pink, yellow, orange, whatever. But I end up changing out some of those embroidery threads because it's just, they're a little too dark. So I end up changing those as I go, but I'm going to change them one at a time. So you'll see that as I go. So the photos, that's going to be kind of the general layout right there. I'm going to have the tags, and then the photos are going to layer on top of that. I love to use tags as layering pieces. And then I added in a palm tree and a little piece of ephemera, a little phrase on it that I'm adding just kind of to layer behind. And I love how that looks when you have lots of different layers and details back behind the photos. And I will say I do right here, I'm adding a bunch of glue. So it is difficult when you have texture paste and lots of mediums on the background. Sometimes it can be difficult for things to stick to it. So if you're trying to usually I try to use very little glue because I don't want, it bleeding out from behind things. But when I'm trying to glue to texture paste, I always end up having to go back and add more because my natural instinct is just to do really light glue. But that doesn't work. It won't stick. So I will go back and add some glue behind those different pieces. And it once it dries, it does stick really well. It just takes a little while for that to happen. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and build some clusters around the photos. Oh, and here's another. Oh my gosh. I love this pattern paper with the yellow and the pink and the green. It's one of my favorite combinations of colors, like that, a bright pink, yellow, and green. I love how those colors look together. So that pattern paper definitely spoke to me. So I went ahead and fussy cut out some flowers and some leaves from that I'm going to be using on the layout. And I'm going to start building some clusters here. I thought I might do my photos crooked. I always think I want to do that. I love how they look on other people's layouts when they're crooked, but I can never make that work. Every now and then I'll add a crooked picture, but I wish I could do it because I do like how it ends up looking, but when I go to do it, when it's time to glue them down, it's always hard for me. I always end up straightening them back out. I don't know what it is. Something about that. And then here, even on my craft foam that already has adhesive, and it's really good, strong adhesive, I still add the liquid glue because otherwise it ends up coming up. And then I'm adding craft foam to all of those photos. This is just cheap craft foam from my local craft store. Add my own adhesive to that. So the picture in the middle is sitting up on craft foam that's a little bit thicker, and then the one on the left of it and the right of it, the craft foam is a little bit thinner. So I am getting some, it's hard to tell from here, but I am getting some variation in height of the photos. All right, and then there's going to be a little floral cluster to the right of the photos. And then I am going to have that little summer piece that's on the left. I love that little piece of ephemera. It's like almost like a sunset going into the water, and it just says summer on it. So I am going to end up using that, but I am going to add a flower behind it. So a big yellow flower to match, just like I have on the right. I'm going to add that behind that summer piece on the left. And here I did try to layer some of the ephemera. So on that photo, there's just some water down at the bottom that wasn't super important to the photo. So I do end up layering the flowers on top of that corner right there. And then on the middle photo, I'm going to end up layering a flower in the top right corner of that middle photo too, because it was just nothing there that really you needed to see. I never want to cover up faces or whatever it is that I'm photographing in the picture. I never want the important parts to be covered up. But I do love how it looks to layer things on top of the photos, because when you nestle, it almost looks like the photos are nestled in the clusters if you kind of layer a few things, not a whole bunch of things, but a few things on top of those photos as you're going. So lots of things behind the photos and then just a few things on top, and that kind of helps everything look cohesive. And I do think it helps draw attention to the photos too. And the ephemera, the colors in the ephemera are so bold and bright. I love every little piece that was in the packet, and I had trouble not using all of it. So I kind of wanted to get all of it on there because it's so pretty. And there are also some little beachy kind of, like there's a beach ball and little fish. I'm going to have all of those on the layout. And it doesn't seem like it makes a whole lot of sense to have, as I was thinking about it, I'm like, does it make sense to have the fish on a layout where I'm in a swimming pool? But it actually does, because, and you wouldn't know this if you don't swim in my pool, but my kids will know it when they look at the layout. So a lot of our little pool toys that we use are fish. So like we have all different kinds, like a couple that swim, and then there's a couple that sink to the bottom of the swimming pool, and my son and my daughter are always diving down to get them from the bottom. So it does make sense to have fish on one of our pool layouts, because we play with those a lot in the pool. And then the little beach ball, we have lots of little beach balls that we play with of all different sizes. And here what I'm doing right now is I did take just a little bit of tangled thread, and it's not even really tangled thread. It's like I make little circles of thread and then have the thread coming out. And then I put that behind one of the epoxy stickers that's in the kits. It's an orange kind of Hawaiian looking. It's got a palm tree, a little Hawaiian looking piece of ephemera or epoxy sticker. I love those. Flair is what some people call them. I love those. And then the beach ball fits, because we have lots of little beach balls that we play with in the pool that are also adorning. Every time we do gardening in our backyard, we find little beach balls that are adorning our garden, because my kids will play with them and then they hit them off into the bushes, and then they are like, oh, let's just get a different one. Let's not go get that one out of the bushes. Or out of the flowers or plants. So we find balls in there all the time. Okay, and then this little title piece. So it's an acrylic piece from, I think it's from Bramble Fox, and it says, let's have fun. It's super cute. The color of it, I love the color of it, but it didn't really totally match the color of the pinks that were in the kits. So it was a little bit more coral, kind of like an orangey, but it wasn't quite enough orange to match the oranges that are in the kits. So anyway, I end up using it on the layout, and then I use my Posca, I think that's how you say it, the Posca markers. It's like an acrylic marker, and I just color it with a bright pink on top. So I just go with the marker right on top of the acrylic, and you can totally change the color of that, and it's permanent. So they stay, once it dries, it's permanently on there. So that has definitely been a game changer for me. I saw someone doing that. I can't even remember who or when. It was a long time ago, but I saw someone doing that, and I was like, oh my gosh, I would totally use my acrylic more if I had known I could do that. So that for me was a really good thing to learn and to try to do, because sometimes those acrylic pieces that you get them, they don't really match what you're going for, or the, you know, the kit that you're using, so, or the colors that you're using. So it is very helpful to know that you can color them and change the look of them. So that piece that would have just sat in my stash now is on a layout because I was able to color it. And I've done that. I've done it to several, actually, lots of pieces of acrylic, and they hold up. So even in my stacks of layouts, and then once I put them in albums, everything, you know, I guess if I went and tried to get it off of there, I probably could scratch it off, but it actually works really well. Okay, so now I'm adding little fish that I was talking about to the layout. And those are up on a little bit of craft foam. And then from the bonus bundle, so the purple, the Creamies purple peony is from the bonus bundle, and then also the sequins. So this is a beautiful sequin set. It's got all different kinds of little things in there, and I absolutely love it. And I did pull in a couple little sequin sets from previous months as well, because I wanted a few different colors that weren't in there. So got everything to match, and then I used pops of color to add a few more little details, and that is the layout. So I hope you enjoyed the process. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you place a Shimmerz order, be sure and put Sarah Millerhouse in the comment section, and you will get a free gift. And that is always fun to get a free gift. And I hope you love the layout. Bye guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.